All right.
Hey.
I'll be right back, son. All right, you're live.
What, you already got it right?
Huh?
That's not the first time I've been on the big screen.
Listen, I don't want to hear
The first time I had
about I don't want to hear about any other ones.
No. Well, I'm going to go ahead and kind of start this a little bit. I put together this presentation because of a lot of people are interested in doing some real estate investment. A lot of customers, a lot of agents don't know about it. So it's actually pretty good. I think you'll find it interesting. That's why let's talk real estate investment. I'm going to be doing this for the open public as well.
Awesome.
I'm going to do a seminar agreement here. Just so you know, there are 4 types of real estate investments. There's income properties, there's flipping homes, which a lot of buyers want to do nowadays. Everybody wants to flip a house. There's commercial properties and also businesses. With that being said, we're going to go right into the income properties. These are residential units, 4 units or less, income property, which by law you're allowed to do as a real estate agent. When you exceed that, you have to have an attorney involved. It's mandatory required. If you live in one of the units, you get a better loan rate as well, because now it becomes a primary residence. Commercials were apartment buildings, anything over 4 units. And again, the commercial requires that you have an attorney involved, because the contracts have to be done, attorney-drawn contracts. Flipping properties. That's where you purchase, repair, remodel, or update for resale at a higher price. That's what a lot of the current investors are doing. You got to determine what your costs are going to be. This is where you should have a builder working along with you so they can give you some idea of the pricing. Find out what the fair market value would be after the work is completed. You do a CMA on similar properties and you have an idea of what the value of that property that you're purchasing is going to be after everything's done. This will be coming, you'll see it later on when we do the sheet I just provided you with. Hire a realtor to get the property to the market as soon as possible. That's you, that's me. Get the client to hire us so that we have them locked in on not only the purchase but the resale. And I put down here experienced realtors can help determine the values. Commercial properties. Types of commercial properties, storefronts, storage units, shopping centers. I'm just throwing a bunch out there. Office complex, lots, lands, zoned commercial, mini malls, parking lots, banks, restaurants, repair centers, etc. There's a lot of different commercial properties out there. Businesses, if you're going to have a business and someone wants to have you sell their business for them, what is the fair selling price? That's something we have to determine. What to offer when buying a business, what you need to know before you can make an educated decision. People will tend to lie to you. They'll tell you that they make X amount of dollars. They bring home every month. Well, 2 things happen. One, we know they put money in their pocket. That money they put in their pocket is not going to determine the value. It's hidden money, so it has no real value as far as determining the price of the property. I have a program in there I can show you that'll work along with it, that'll help us compute that, because there's a lot of factors we have to get into play. Always, if you're dealing with businesses, always get a copy of the tax return signed by their accountant. Don't just take what they give you. Something signed by a certified public accountant. That way it's a real document. It's been presented for taxes. Also, make sure you can get a copy of their sales tax they paid for the year. That also helps you determine the value of the business they really declared to the state. Again, they'll all tell you that I put $100,000 in my pocket. You know what? Who cares? It's not real. We need to see what your buyer's looking to buy. Okay. Did I skip a page? I don't think so. What you're interested in Each of these has a different need. Are they selling it or are they buying it? What type of investment property are you interested in? This is a question you're asking your customers. Are you looking to buy a house to have income, property income? Do you want to buy something to flip? Do you want to buy a commercial property? Do you want to buy a business? We're trying to fill the need that our clients would like. Return on investment, very important question. What percentage are your buyers looking for? 5%, 8%, 10% as an example. If they invest $100,000, they want that kind of return on their money. Not counting the property. They just want that income coming in, as if the money were in a CD or into a lender or a brokerage house. Is it over a 4-unit building? Is it a commercial property? Is an attorney required? Key thing, always make sure that you know if attorney is necessary to handle a transaction. Are you prepared to purchase now? These are questions we're asking our buyers. How are you buying? Are you going to buy it with cash or a mortgage investment? If they do a mortgage, it's an investment property, expect they have to put 30% down. That's what the lenders will require. They want you to put some of your own money into the game. If I'm going fast, tell me to stop and ask questions. Expenses to consider. If you're buying a condo, what are the condo fees? A vacancy factor, which I'll show you in a second. Property taxes, water, sewer, everything else, exterior maintenance, trash, lawn, snow removal, etc. Is the building maintenance included? Legal and accounting services needed. If you can't do it yourself, if it's a big mega structure, you want to have an accountant and an attorney. If it's big enough, are you going to have an on-site manager? I have seen in the past where people have rented these big buildings and they have a manager living in one of the apartments and they give it to them for free as part of the perk, and they pay him a less salary. But they got free rent. And it helps because if anyone complains, they call them, not you. Okay, cost of association staff. If it's a condo association, they have their own maintenance fees aside from the regular condo fees. Is a parking area, is it maintenance, painting, etc. We've got to put these things into some kind of, we have to write them all down. We have to have an idea of what the bottom line numbers are going to be. It's really, really important. Gas, electric. If these things are included, we should know what they're roughly running. And if they're included in the rent. So if you're renting a condo and you're including the gas and electric or a house, you should know that number. Okay. Income. There's many types of income. We're going to get the income from rent. Is there wash and dryer machines on the property? That's more income. Do we have vending machines, soap, candies? That's income to you as a business. Parking spaces, are they paying for parking? Are they paying for a parking space? ATM machine, great income if you can afford it. A payphone, thing of the past, but they still have some of them. Any type of income, these are things that you want to know what you can expect to put into figures so you can generate a fair market price for this property if you're buying it or selling it. Again, these are basic things. Do you need an attorney? Have all the figures and incomes which we just covered. Write down and compute the values. Is it priced correctly? What should it be? We got to determine these factors. And the sheet I'm going to give you is going to help you do that. Allow for missing items. I just had a deal where there was selling property and one of the lots was not included. They were selling it, but they didn't know it was separated to 2 lots. It was 2 separate lots, so we had to get a deed for the second lot as a sell that along with it. Tax records. Now this is stuff that we get. Tax records, make sure the taxes and the lot size. Tax records on the property I had the lot as 100 by 100, But meanwhile, each lot was 50 by 100, so we had to incorporate that. Are all the lots included? They are now. What is needed for this, what's included in the sale? If there's properties or sheds or parking spaces, whatever, that might be available. Is the seller willing to hold a mortgage? Nice question. This is a Dan question. If they're gonna cover the mortgage, if they're gonna include the mortgage, you're don't have to qualify. What do they expect, if they do, what do they expect as far as the down payment? Again, investors, or someone's gonna let you buy their property, gonna hold a mortgage, they want money up front. If we're doing it with the bank, 30%, so. If you're doing a big building, does the tenant pay separately for the gas, electric, trash, water, sewer? A lot of bigger buildings have some of these items already included. But you should make sure you're aware of everything. If you're buying a building and you don't have separate meters, you better include it in the rent. Because you want to separate, especially the gas and electric. I think Dan told me we had an instance where people were doing laundry out of the house, the water and sewer, so that water bill went way, way up there. So if you can separate that, is by all means separate it. You got exterior lighting. If it's a multiple building, you are responsible for the inside of the building for safety features and legal. Have the people talking to a mortgage company, or they pre-qualified? Again, these are things that you want to know, so you make your own little checklist. You need to know these, so you don't get caught later on down the road and they say, well, you gotta take it out of your commission, I don't have enough money. That's the first place they go for. Is the price they're asking, is that a realistic price? We're gonna determine that too.
Yes.
This looks complicated, it's simplified on the sheet I gave you. But these are all the things we're going to put into formulas, so we'll be able to see what we got. We're not just write them all down. Okay, this is a rate of return formula. This is a spreadsheet which we're going to do in a second. Okay, the presentation's over, but we're going to go into a sample on how you can do this. Does anybody have a property in mind that they have been working with or thinking about investing? Anything? Anybody have anything in mind? You do? Great. I'm going to ask you questions in a second.
Okay.
Nothing better than a real thing. Okay. I mean, I had a sample set up just in case. We have a property here. It happens to be something I just listed. It's 4th David A. Carver Township. Okay. There, we have it on the market for $90,000. This is what the owner would like to get for the house. Is that number real? Is it a good number? So if we start plugging in stuff, I created on a spreadsheet. You can do it yourself. Is that number a real number? How good is it? How can we come up with a number on it? So let's kind of figure something out. Okay, if we're going to take this property, we're going to hold it, we're going to rent it. How much rent can we rent this property for? It's a 3-bedroom house, Egg Harbor Township. Anybody have an idea what kind of fair rent?
3 bedroom, 1 bath,
Yeah.
in Egg Harbor Township, 1,200, 11, does that have a garage?
No garage.
1,100.
Okay, so we're going to rent this for $1,100 a month. Okay, so now what's happening is we're building something up. So now we're starting to plug in numbers. Closing costs on a house, $5,000? Fair? Okay, we're going to say this closing cost for this property is $5,000. Now, let's get down, and if you take notice, I'll have some things built in here. I'll have something created right now, because you get tenants in a house, they don't stay all the time, you've got turnover. So I have included in my worksheet a 10% vacancy factor. So if we're renting it, we get $13,200 expected for the year, we're gonna take a 10% figure as downtime, where you're cleaning it, you're painting it, you're looking for a new tenant. That helps you out quite a bit. A lot of people don't take that into consideration. But you have to allocate what you're gonna need for monies. Do we have any other income? No. Now this property is in bad shape. It's going to need a roof. We're going to need a roof. There's no oil tank. There's mold on the property. So I plugged in some figures that I think would be a reasonable figure. Again, what we're doing here is we're compiling this. If you're going to become an investor, you're going to flip this property. We're making something so we have an idea of what is of value for us on this property, and also where we can make money. So I've done all these different figures, and I come up with the repair cost, an estimated repair cost for this property of $50,000, $50,700 to take this property and fix it to a level where it can be resold.
Resold or rented?
Either way, either way. You want to know your numbers. So if you take notice, I took care of estimated repairs, $50,700. Okay, and I added the closing costs into that. Now, do we have an idea what this property might be worth? If we did our CMA on the property, do we have an idea what it might be worth afterwards? Estimated value of this property. They were asking $90,000 as is condition. Well, it's not going to be worth $90,000. I'd say it's probably going to be realistically worth $150,000. So let's just use that as our estimate number of $150,000 on the value of the property. Do we know what the taxes are on the property? Again, see all these fees here. These are things that cost us money every year. We got condo fees. There's a condo. Are we paying for the water? Management company. Is there a management company? Is there sewer that we're going to pay for? So we could just plug in numbers. Taxes on the property, which to me are the most important thing. I'm going to say $6,000. Flood insurance, if it's required, or insurance, $1,500 insurance, fair price?
I've never done flood.
Well, I'm just saying flood and regular insurance. So $1,500 a year. Are we going to do the lawn ourselves? Nah. Yeah. So let's put a number in there. Let's put $1,200 a year. I put big high. I'm a big tipper with the lawn service. I included a maintenance fee, that being in case during the course of the year repairs come up. We're trying to cover that. We're trying to make sure we have it kind of figured in our work. If something breaks, it has to be repaired. So why not try to figure out what it's going to cost us as an investor? What will it cost us to repair it? So we're generating these numbers, trying to get a good idea of what this property is going to be worth to us. So I have a yearly expense right now of $9,360. So let's add that. That's automatically the way I have it set up on the system. You could do this manually. You got the sheet will help you out with that. But if we're going to try to get my fingers out of the way, here's the $9,360. So at this point, we're saying that this property is going to bring us, if we paid this all cash at the $90,000 figure, if the property is as bad as the shape this property is, I take a flat 30% off. So based on the estimated, based on that value, we estimated 150,000. I'm saying this property is worth 30,000, 105,000, excuse me, 30% off. Okay, now it's below that number. So, let's say we're gonna pay on this property 70,000. That's what we're gonna offer this owner for this property. And now we see what our numbers will come up to be. Now we got a property, we're paying 70,000, they're asking 90, we're paying 70. We've got our closing costs figured in, we've got all those repairs that we just figured. Our total investment on this property is 125,700. We've got an income of 13,200, vacancy factor taken out. Our yearly expenses, cash flow. This is what we're gonna get out of this property for a year. After taxes and insurance are paid, as if you took money out of the bank. So you're gonna get a 2% return on your money. It's not very good. But that's how, this is what I try to do, is try to generate a figure to where you can, how you can come up with some numbers that work. So, what do we do? What do we tell our client? This property needs so much work. Let's take it, let's offer them 50,000 for this. Offering them 50,000, now, what did it? It's 2.38, so we're not really getting, is this a good investment?
Nope.
No. I wouldn't think it would be. But if we take out some of these cost factors, if we bought a property that didn't need that much repairs, now it really comes into play. But here you've got to start, you've got something to grab, and how strong are you going to look to your client? You're telling them that this is a bad deal. To me, I think it's smart. I tell someone I wouldn't buy this property. I just went through with another customer. No, it's not worth it. You can't afford it.
So the cap rate needs to be between.
You want a return on your investment. Now, I also have in here is if you put a mortgage in there. If we add a mortgage with 70% of the figure up here, what we've come up with, the total investment cost. If you put a 30% down, you want to know what you're going to make on that. This screen doesn't show as big, otherwise it'd be easier for you to see them. Unfortunately, it's what's happening here. Okay, here, if we took 30% of the figure, we took 30% of the, what's that going to amount to? 30% of the, of 105, roughly 60,000, 70,000.
It's close.
And the resale, also the resale on this property is not as strong as it should be. We're estimating the property value to be 150,000 after all the work we've done. So what are we going to see in the net result of this property? We're invested 105,000, so we're going to get a 45,000 or 41% return on our money. If at this figure, this is what we have invested, this is a good flip property now. It may not be a good property to use as a rental, return on investment, but is it a good flip property?
I don't think so.
You get 41% return on your money.
Yeah, but
If you're flipping, if you purchased it, your cost in this property is 105,700. You can get this on the market and get it sold for 150. You're picking a $44,000 return. This is what you see these guys on TV do.
Right, but you're assuming at this point we're talking about no other investors, so you have no gap funders, you're talking cash at this point. So
If
you're tying up
you're
your
a
money.
builder and investor, you're going to flip it.
Yes, sir, I understand.
You got two aspects here. You got the position of taking a property and use it as an investment to generate income for yourself. Or if you're gonna turn around and make it a flip property, where you're gonna go out and sell it. The moment you put it on the market, the moment they purchase it and they start doing the work, you put it on the market, you're gonna put it on the market for this price. People come in, they can pick out colors and so forth, but it'll turn over faster. Will an investor like to get a $44,000 return on the money? That's a 41% of their investment cost. And that's with everything done, all the work done. So now it becomes, hey, so this is a good flip property. Was it a good property to rent, to be a landlord? It's not 2% return on your money.
Well, not only that, but realistically looking at that now, if you bought it and you held it for 4 or 5 years, it probably is gonna be worth less anyway.
True, the market. But you've got, again, if you're generating, if you bought a property right and you're getting the income, you're getting $500 a month above and beyond the cost of the property in your pocket every month. It's worth it, you got an income. Plus you still own the property. But if you're taking as a respect to taking the property and just fix it and unload it, you got a good return on that. So we're looking at things in a lot of different views. If people want to take money and invest it into something to get a return on the money, this is not the property. This is not it at 2.38%. It's just not worth it for them to take the money. Though in the bank they get 25%, or rather a quarter percent. So
Yeah.
it's better than the bank, but it's still nothing real.
Sir,
People they're looking for 8, 10, 12%.
is that 41% an annual return that we're looking at? We're
No,
not-
this is the return if you sold it
Yes, sir,
Without-
but
sold
my
it, flipped
question
it
is,
out.
over
Without-
what duration of time?
Without
from the time you purchase it to the time you sell it.
And many of the
6 months,
investors right now are
sometimes.
putting them right on the market when they buy it.
They're buying it, starting to
Before
work,
they
they'll
even
put it
do
on the
the work.
market immediately. So you want to get double bubble.
Yeah.
From your perspective as a
And a
realtor,
lot of realtors here are doing that.
yeah, from your perspective, it's with all the short sales, there's buyers out there trying to buy all these short sales. They're buying up Atlantic City. You know, Atlantic City's got the flood thing going there. That could be a problem. But if they can flip it out quickly, they don't care. It's not their business, it's the person who buys it.
Well, Pleasantville, like Carver Township, is working well for that too.
Correct. You don't have to put up with the flood, it's not as steep. But this is what I was talking about, trying to get your numbers together, to understand the numbers. See if I can have another one up here.
Well, sir, that's why I'm
Go ahead.
confused.
Please ask, that's why I'm here.
Because your ROI is usually an annualized figure, whereas, so therefore, that means we're talking 12-month period when you're looking at a 41.99%. If that
No,
were
it's
over,
not, this is not an ROI.
okay,
That you're talking about up here, the cap rate and the rate of return on investment. That's gonna be what you're gonna get if you keep the property. If you're gonna be the owner of the property and rent it out. That's what that's
For
referring to.
12 months even.
No, I understand.
That's,
I'm thinking in terms of my money is tied up for a period of time, so I have what you call a holding period. And what I don't understand is when I'm looking at the 41.99%, what is that telling me my holding period is under which my money
you
is
can't
no
tell
longer?
how quick can you sell it.
Well, usually we're looking at a minimum 4 months. So does that represent 4
If
months?
you're pricing it right, you can look at, if we took this and priced it at 200,000, that number's gonna go really high. But now, we're not gonna sell it as quickly. Investors want, and people do want them cheaper. They wanna buy a house cheaper. So if you bring your pricing into realistic, say the market on this property, the market in the area for this house, fixed up condition is 175. You're putting it on the market for 150 for your investor flipper. You're looking to turn it over. You want to get it turned over as quickly as possible. So this percentage return on what the money they laid out is going to be,
How much did they pay for that house?
we're
90.
estimating them paying 90,000. No.
No, you said 70, you dropped it to 70.
70,000.
So,
Our cost to purchase this house was $105,700 after all the repairs. We purchased it for $50,000. We even reduced this to get another number. We still got closing costs, We got repairs, which were all those repairs that we said needed mold, septic and everything. So that amount of 50,000. So our investment from our investors' investment is 105,700. Can they do it for less? Probably, because they're builders and stuff. But this is being realistic. We're trying to give them something to say, these are the numbers. These are your numbers that you're working with. What do you feel you should pay for this house? What's it worth after market? As I said, I picked an example, happens to be this one. This is a really beat up house. It needs a lot.
But in all due respect to what, you know, you're saying and what you're saying, if you're taking your money out of the bank to pay for this house, or if you're going to, it's gonna take you 6 months to make all the repairs and
Exactly.
everything, there should
Exactly.
be, there may be, I'm just thinking because I do investments too, that you might put in there a holding cost expense
Because
also.
it has to be a duration of time, because it's not gonna be fixed immediately, and you can't sell it immediately. So there has to be some type of a period of time associated with.
You got
how long-
taxes, you got everything to worry about.
Yes, sir.
So you, I'm taking you out of the picture as being the realtor for a minute. You're the investor, you're the one buying the property. Put yourself in that position for a minute, think about it from that way. Okay, now, your concern is how quick can I get this repaired? Can I buy it at a good price?
From my investment standpoint, I would say I'm looking at a minimum of 5 weeks just to do the $50,000 in work.
Okay? Now, what's it worth to you? I mean, I have to project the figure of a return that you're gonna get at a realistic price. What is it gonna cost you to get this property sold, time-wise? And, you know, what a dollar amount you're investing. You have to price it so it moves quickly. You're gonna put this on the market, as Barbara was just saying, you're gonna put this on the market as soon as you buy it. You're gonna get it out there. You're looking to flip it, and that's what the smart builders are doing. They buy the property, while it's in escrow to close on it, it's already been listed. It's already started, they've already got all the stuff ordered to come in there and have a cruise already set. They're looking to cut that 6 month that you're talking about down to something they can bite into real quick. I mean, how quick can people do work?
Like I said,
As soon as they're on the job, they can
at
knock it
that
out.
budget, I would, just at a $50,000 repair budget, I'm thinking 5 weeks, just based on that number.
Okay.
And that's a rough estimate.
Okay, so now we got 5 weeks. Let's go to 2 months. Let's say 2 months.
Mhm.
Okay, we've got 8 weeks. This builder is in this property, got it done, looking at the next buy, and this has been on the market now for 8 weeks. At a price that we're saying is a price that can be sold. It's below the market value. This market value for this house could be higher, but we put it at this market value as anticipating the return on his investment. I think, you watch all these shows on TV, how quick they try to turn them over. They're in there working on them, they're trying to get them out. You can get work done quickly, especially if you know what you're doing for builders.
And I deal with a lot of investors, and even if they get $10,000, at the end of it, they're happy. They
It
don't wanna be
depends on the
greedy.
extent of the repairs.
Mhm.
I mean, this
And
property.
chances are they're gonna spend less than 50,000.
Oh, absolutely, this is
Especially if they
a
do it
worst
themselves.
scenario possible.
So you
The
can
worst
have-
scenario.
Mhm.
You can find one that you're gonna just need carpeting and paint. You cut that
I
number
bought a
down.
house and it had quite a bit of major repair and I had it done in 2 weeks to move into.
So-
You have a crew ready to go.
Yeah.
I had hardwood floors done, bathrooms fixed.
Wow,
You
that
have-
was great.
You have people that are out there that know their crew. They have a crew ready to go. They hire something smart if you're gonna go into this, investing for yourself and flipping. Have someone on your payroll that's a good contractor. He doesn't have to do the work. He can run the project manager.
So general
You
contractor.
pay, well, project manager, not, the general contractor, they'll try to use their subs, and they'll take commissions from the subs. So you're paying the bills. So if you have someone that's gonna bring in, you give them a percentage of that net profit, you close this out, you know, you get this in place, I'll throw you $5,000-6,000.
Tony, when are you doing this presentation live for people?
Probably in a few weeks, I have to schedule it.
Could we have some of our people come, is that okay?
Sure, absolutely, absolutely. This way you have an idea of what numbers you're talking about. Let me see if I can find another sheet here on this.
Are you able to share this spreadsheet with us?
What you have in front of you is basically the spreadsheet.
Okay.
I just generated one that if you bring me this information, I'll generate and print it, you can have it, to give to you, any buyer you want, if that'll help you out. You know, it's a lot of information, and I've been changing it quite a bit. Let me get at this and see if I can pull up another one for you.
It really is a good time for this flipping again, and we went through a segment where it wasn't, but we are right now in the prime time to do it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of it going on.
Especially in New Jersey.
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
Well, actually, in South Jersey,
Yeah,
Atlantic
that's
County.
what I should
yeah.
have, I should clarify that, you're absolutely right.
I have a property that I was looking at, and maybe this will kind of, almost, you know, I'm just trying to find one that I was working with that maybe it'll help you out. I was trying to, Dan actually put the thought in my mind, and God bless you.
Bless you.
And what it amounted to is, this is it. Okay, here's it's the same type of thing, but again, whatever, you plug in this on your sheet, you just plug in what they want. They can want $1 million, who cares? The problem is you have to come up and know what amount of repairs. Let's take that same scenario. Purchase price was, I think, $90,000. Here we're gonna offer $60,000. And we're gonna get the rental on this is gonna come up a little bit higher. But the work on this property is to make you happy. The work on this property is gonna be a lot less. So we have $1,500 a month on the property. Do we need work on the property? Let's put some taxes in there. I'm just adding some figures in here so we can get an idea right away. We got no repairs on this property now. So this property is a good property. I'll plug in some repairs in a minute if you want to. So, just put one on one. Okay, here we got a property now. Guess we're not paying 12,000. Makes a difference, 12,000 as opposed to. Here we got a property where we're making 16,000 income. I must have other formulas in here, I didn't clear it out all the way. I don't like to have to do the sheet. This sheet, they make them, they'll let you consolidate it down to look at it easier, unless you're printing it out.
Do your view smaller?
Putting the wrong figures in here. Here, in this case now, with the income of 16,200 yearly expenses, we're gonna pick up, with including property taxes, a yearly income of 8,100, or 12% return on your money. So now it's this one now become a good property to buy and hold.
Absolutely.
So now you're getting a return on your investment. So now this comes into a different play. This is where someone will come and say, yeah, I want that property. Even if we go in and we plug in and we have to put carpeting in, some painting, we can do. Painting, let's say we're gonna put 1,500 in painting. Carpeting, we'll put 3,000 in carpeting. So now it's reduced our costs because we got 4,500, now it's reducing our income to 11,600. That's a good return on investment. So all the numbers, understanding what the numbers are and how to plug them into each other is what you want to do. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And if you're going to be working with, because there's a lot of people calling every one of you, Barbara, myself, they're calling us and they're asking they want to buy something cheap. My question is, how good a builder are you when they start coming to you? Because if they're not a good builder, you're going to have to get them something where they can paint it and carpet it. They can hire an outside company to come in. Now what are you going to make? I've sold a property, a guy bought a property for like, I think 40,000, but he wound up going in and fixing it all up. He sold it for 28,000. So there's a lot of bad investors out there because they don't understand. So if you're working them through numbers, they'll understand.
So we could call you and you'll plug in the numbers?
Yeah, just tell me what you want and I'll try to create a sheet for you. We'll sit down, I'll create a sheet for you. We'll print it and then you can give it to your client.
Okay.
And say, this is the numbers that we come up with. But you gotta know, you gotta get an idea of what, the key thing is what it's worth after the repairs are done. What is the comps? And if they're looking to flip it, you take a percentage of what the comp value is. For example, comp is say that are selling is 200,000. So now you take 20% less to unload it quick. That's what you're telling your buyer, your flipper. Questions?
Good job.
Any questions, anybody? Yes? No? Like I said, I'll be happy to help you with it because what I've done is I tried to create a spreadsheet that would automatically calculate stuff for me. So it makes it a lot easier. And I'll be happy to, like I said, I'll be happy to just work with you on it and just put something together. Even if it's for yourself. I mean, I like the fact if you're gonna take out money out of the bank, we didn't take a mortgage out. If you took a mortgage out, they'll tell you what kind of percentage you're gonna get back. Because if you're taking a mortgage, you're only investing 30% of the cost. So what are you gonna get if you invest 30%? What's your 30% gonna get you back? What kind of percentage is that gonna come out? We forget about that. People have forgotten that they take money out of their pocket to invest in something and they get a mortgage. They're concerned with what the mortgage is. But isn't the money you had in the bank have value? Isn't that going to give a return? So you want to know what you're going to get back for the money you laid out, along with the bank, along with the mortgage. Yes? Well, I hope you enjoyed it. I mean, any questions, let me know. Be happy to help you.
This is really helpful, actually.
It is.
Yeah.
That's why I did it that way. You can actually kind of get a good feel of what's coming up, what's it worth. Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
John.
sir.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I have one that I'm looking at buying very shortly, so I might use the cheap and I'll send it back to you.